Welcome back to the Dropouts Podcast. You were here with your host, Lamont Sinclair, and to the left of me, we got the co-host, the OG, the one and only.
It's your boy Bleezes. Welcome back. We got a very special one for y'all today.
Yes,
we got our boy, the one and only.
We got 20-year-old health and wellness expert, a student of religion and psychology. Not only that, he is also a martial artist and a chef. We got Thomas Keith Moniz McMillion.
What's up?
Welcome.
Did I pronounce the Moniz right?
Yeah, Moniz.
Yeah.
Okay. Where does that originate from, brother?
My mom's last name. So McMillion is my dad's last name. My mom is Moniz. So.
Where they from?
My mom, shit, man, I got a mixed ass background, man. I got on my Brazilian side, my mom's Brazilian, also from a tribe on the border of Uruguay and Brazil. It's called Chahua. Chahua, yeah. And on my dad's side, he's American and Cherokee. So I got, two tribes going on. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got a little Cherokee
But,
with me. I feel that.
Do you guys got any like tribal practices that you uphold?
I mean, me and my sister were trying to bring that back. You know what I mean? Because it's like my grandparents, you know what I mean? So my grandma never really taught us anything. Even though she grew up on a reservation and all that, she never really taught us anything like that. So we're just, we're trying to reconnect with it. You know what I mean? Trying to bring it back.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, man. So you and I met through the martial arts.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, sir. How'd you get into that?
Bruce Lee, man. Bruce Lee. Yep.
Hell yeah.
I was 15 years old, man. And I was just watching all his movies, you know what I mean? And it was inspired me, you know what I mean? I saw him, I was like, I want to be the best fighter in the world, man. And, obviously, goals are changing right now for me, but hey, you know what I mean? I'm still doing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How long you been training now?
Started at 15. I started out with Taekwondo. That's what I did.
Mm-hmm. I could tell you got good kicks.
Yeah, the side kicks, the roundhouses, all that. But then I moved to Hayastan 2021. So I did all that for until now, I guess. So 5 years, I think.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Bruce Lee got you into it. What you got? Any modern day people you look up to in fighting?
Volk.
Volk.
What do you like
Classic.
about him?
Yeah. Oh, man, just his style, man. The fact that he's bigger but shorter, you know what I mean? It's inspiring
short
seeing him
and
going
stocky.
against those taller people and all
Yeah,
that.
I feel like every short dude loves Volk.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I fucking love him. I'm like, okay, it works.
Yeah.
There is an option.
Yep. And I mean, just how he gets inside, man, how he sets everything up.
Yeah.
It's just clean,
Very technical,
man.
for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Did you watch the recent fights?
Nah, but he's lost last two, right?
Yeah, brother.
I saw that on the Instagram, man. My heart broke, man.
Man, all of ours.
But,
All of ours.
Yeah, he's a true champ. Still in the heart. He'll be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He had a
definitely,
great
man.
legacy.
Definitely. And the amount he's fighting,
Mm-hmm.
like,
That's the thing. He could have played it safe and not done anything risky.
yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what hurts. That's what hurts about it, man. Watching one of your favorite fighters do things where, like, his last two, the first loss, bro, I feel like he shouldn't have taken the fight. I'm like, damn,
100%.
dog. Why? Why did
Yeah,
you do that, man?
yeah.
Like, that's not a dude you fight on fucking 11 days notice.
Exactly. Well, yeah, 2 weeks, right?
Mhm.
Something like that. Yeah. That.
And you were saying that he was drinking a lot during that time, no?
Yeah, he said mentally he just wasn't in the same spot he was previously. So he'd been drinking almost 9 months straight prior to that fight. Took that fight on 12 days notice, and he said that was he thought it was his kickback to get back into gear,
Yeah.
But
I mean, a lot of people have been saying that, he's just been going through it mentally. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's must have.
That's why he said he was drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, bro, I know you're very much so into the mental health and wellness stuff. What's your personal reason for like caring about that so much?
Man, I've done a lot of things in my past I'm not proud of. I was I was a plug back in high school. I made edibles, sold all that shit, and there's just a lot of shame that comes along with it. You know what I mean? Especially because I hurt people like my mom, who I love so much. You know what I mean?
Did you get like in trouble?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's caught me multiple times.
Mm.
And then
Were you
at
ever in
school-
legal trouble, like, or school
Yeah,
trouble?
yeah.
Ah,
So,
man.
yeah, man, that shit was crazy. So I was I think I bought like an ounce at school. I don't know why I did it at school.
At school?
Yeah. Man, and the worst part though, man, I had a scale on me, I had an edible on me, that ounce, of course, a wax pen. I had a whole lot of shit, man.
They said, yeah, we could, obviously.
School,
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
run your pockets like it's nothing there
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
What they say goes.
But yeah, no. So I got in trouble with that. That was right before we went to quarantine. Actually, like a couple months before.
Damn, you were grounded and then you got
Man,
quarantined.
So
in.
yeah, man, it was crazy because like. So what they did was I did 10-day suspension, and then I had to do like this teen court stuff, and if I did it, and they like judged me right or whatever, you know what I mean?
Get expunged.
Then yeah, it would give it expunged and all that. So I did that. But man, and then we went into quarantine. That shit was hard because then my mom was drug testing me like every 2 days. You know what I mean?
Making sure
Rightfully
you're
so.
straight.
Rightfully
Yeah.
so.
That's funny.
And she was doing that like every 2 days, and so I was just like, not only was I isolated inside the house the whole time, but I couldn't smoke. You know what I mean? I couldn't smoke, so it's like it really put me through a lot. I had like these. I know people say weed isn't really addictive or whatever, but I think the feelings behind using it is what makes it addictive. You know what I mean?
No, I 100% think it's addictive. My brother here actually recently stopped smoking a little bit.
Yeah, about
Oh, yeah.
8 weeks now, almost 2 months.
Hell yeah. Congrats.
But definitely physical and mental, because as you're saying, the reason why most people smoke is to suppress what's going on currently.
Exactly, and that's what I was doing.
Most people do,
Yeah.
and it just makes you forget about it. All you want to do is get high, but you're not really processing your growth in your mind or in your body when all you're doing is just suppressing it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I've been smoking the past 15 years at least minimum. So I just personally was like, I want to see how I suffice without it. I just needed a break from it.
Yeah. No,
But it's been good.
Do you smoke again, or are you?
Mama, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But
You're not
sometimes.
at liberty to say.
You said what?
Yes.
Hey, no. I mean, I will answer it.
Okay.
Like, I do occasionally, like, very little, but like I remember. And the reason behind doing it is different now. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to suppress
The
anything.
intent.
Like, actually, man, the intent behind it, man, because a while ago, I smoked. I decided to, like, kind of dig deeper into myself. And with that, man, like, I started seeing these fears that I had that seemed small, or like these actions I did. And it was actually a much bigger fear behind it. And I was able to see that through whatever weed does to you. You know what I mean? So
Would you mind like opening up about them, like the fears or whatnot? You don't
yeah,
have
no,
to.
no,
Or if
I
there's
will,
any
I
one
will.
you would share.
I need to think about it. I have it all written down in my book, but what's one? I guess a common one, which is a really big one, but it's a common one among a lot of people, especially men, is having that feeling of not being good enough. You know what I mean?
Self-worth.
Yeah, self-worth. And that's something with me, like I'm aware of it now and I've gotten so much better, but it's still there. You know what I mean? And
For sure.
that's something I'm working through right now. But that's really helped me, especially in like these little actions I do, these little emotions, like the way I react to certain situations. It's really opened my eyes to like, oh, that reaction is because of this feeling, you know what I mean? Of that feeling of shame and all that. And it's important to see those feelings and actually just acknowledge that they're there. And the most important thing, man, the most important thing is not judging yourself about it, not judging any emotions you got. You know what I mean?
They're there
'Cause
for a reason.
they're
And
there
you're never
for-
going to find the source if you just brush it off. Or you
exactly,
just continue to follow
or
through.
cover it with pride. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's what most of us do.
The ego,
Mm.
right.
Yeah, the
Ooh,
ego.
let's speak on that. You say
Yeah.
cover it with pride, and that's what most of us do. Or this is an open-ended question for both of you. Like, how do you think that manifests itself, like, by covering things with pride?
I think that's just how society has grown what the self-image of a man is supposed to be, you know?
Yeah.
We don't have worth unless we provide value, you know? And it's until you can acknowledge that value within yourself without having to provide that worth, you're going to continue to have that endless cycle.
Mm.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's...
Where would you say that value comes from? Obviously within, but like, what about it? Recently I did I make like little videos and stuff about like health and wellness. One of them was like ways to be more confident in yourself, and it's just kind of like, you know, knowing your skills, knowing what you're good at, and knowing what you love about yourself, and etc. But you know, I'm always trying to build onto that and like make that list of things people could do longer.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you think that you do to show yourself your self-worth or your self-value?
Man, so I like that a lot. Honestly, man, just changing the way I speak about myself. You know what I mean?
That's a bar. That's a bar right there.
Yep. And it's just like, because, and not only that, but seeing how you used to speak about yourself. Don't be like, oh, why did I always speak to myself in such a negative way? Because that in itself is a negative response. You know what I mean? So be like, whatever negative responses you had in the past, be like, all right, I was doing the best that I could with what I knew at the time. But now I know that it's okay. You know what I mean? I can let that all go. And that's one thing that's really important to acknowledge when finding that inner worth.
Yeah.
I think. And shit, what else? Honestly, man, I would say that. I mean, there's a lot of other things. They're not popping up to mind right now. But
Well, I know you mentioned writing all this stuff down, so journaling.
Yeah.
That's really sick, bro.
Oh, yeah. And positive affirmations, man.
Oh.
Just saying it to yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Hey, I'm enough, man. Like, or, you know, I'm cool, all that.
The reason I laugh is because you if you ever have to use the bathroom while we're here, the bathroom in there on the mirror, I have a bunch of like positive affirmations and stuff.
Hell
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
that's awesome.
Or just like mental reminders, you know, because I personally, I feel like, you know, even the most confident of people or anything like that, a lot of things go with the subconscious mind, you know what I mean? And even those little things of like, literally, like you said, like, I'm enough, like looking into the mirror and saying that, like, and you know, not everyone, I don't want to say needs to do it, because I feel like it's like therapy. Not everyone needs therapy, but I think everyone benefits from it.
Oh, yeah,
as good as
definitely.
you are, there's only upside to it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do like to have that, especially with like, you know, people coming through doing the podcast, especially some people are nervous before, then they go in the bathroom and they got some positive affirmations and stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely a vibe, brother. Definitely a vibe.
Hell yeah.
And
That's cool.
fucking when it comes to journaling, I have always been a fan of journaling, but it's hard for me to be consistent.
Me too, man. Me too.
And recently I've been looking through at my old journaling stuff, and I'm like I realized some of the stuff that I was writing down that I wanted to happen, I was writing it down so that it would happen, but then I completely forgot about it because I wasn't on it as much. And I'm like, oh wait, not everything's 100%, but I'm like, yo, I finished that. I'm 30% here, 70% here, you know. So those things are building up.
Yeah.
What puts into that, to the previous question, what gives people worth, is I would say is just acknowledging that everyone can grow and realizing where you can grow and what areas of potential that need work, you know. And that constantly, you know, just self-reflecting, not necessarily judging yourself, but just constantly evolving to be a better person the next day.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Recently you said that you found God.
Yeah, man. Oh man. Beautiful, man.
Hey,
Beautiful.
yeah, hallelujah
Beautiful,
to you, brother.
man.
Like,
That's
tell
awesome.
us about that.
So, back in beginning of October, 2024 now, 2023 October, I was just like going through a lot mentally. I didn't know what it was. I was just having a lot of anxiety. You know, I was good on money, You know, I got a place to live. You know, I got people I love. You know what I mean? So it's like I was asking myself, like, why am I having these emotions? You know what I mean? Specifically, it was a fear of death. I've always been afraid of death. And so that's the fear that whatever fear was behind that manifests into the fear of death. And so I was like, why am I, having these fears and all that right now, because I haven't had it in like a few years. And I got a voice, man, in the back of my head. I ignored it for like a week, but it was like, talk to God. That's all it was saying. It was talk to God. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was my subconscious or like an actual like spirit, you know what I mean? But so after a week, I was really going through it one night. And I was like, you know what? God help me. You know what I mean? And I just started, as soon as I said those words, man, like I was literally, that night I was crying and all that. And when I said that, when I finally just like gave into like that voice, I felt this like the most unconditional love you could ever feel in your life. You know what I mean? It started in my heart and it just spread like electricity throughout my whole body. You know what I mean? I could feel it in the air. And I just started like crying even more. I was like, thank you, God. I love you so much. You know what I mean? And man, since then, a couple days later too, I was listening to a song by I think is how you say it. What a Wonderful World. I just decided to listen to it. I haven't listened to it in like years, I guess, until that moment. And there was one moment I was going through it again. And I started praying to God. And I was like, at one point I said, I love you, God. And then the next words in the song said, I love you back. You know what I mean? That's one of the lyrics and is.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy. Right after, not like a few seconds, right after I
like
said
a response.
it. Yeah, it was a response, man. And so ever since then, I was like, I'm going to just give my life to God. You know what I mean? I'm going to focus on what he wants me to do. And I say he, but when I think of God, I think of like a energy. You know what I mean? You can't describe God in my mind.
Do you have I know you said that you're a study or a student of religion.
Yeah.
When you say God, are you speaking to Christianity, Muslim, Catholicism, or are you meaning a more general?
All religions, man.
All religions?
All religions.
I love that, bro. I feel the same way. I feel like especially, tail end of last year and this year, I've become a lot closer to God. A part of those practices do involve going to church, but I'm not opposed to like going to anybody's church. If you're Buddhist, if you're Muslim, if you're whatever, you invite me to a place of just worship in that energy of the source. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that makes me feel that way is I realize that miracles happen for everybody. You know what I mean? And people are praying to different people, you know what I'm saying? And these miracles happen. And when you are doing that action of praying, you're essentially like, you're not doing anything different. It's just depending on like whom you're talking to. But like, I feel like a lot of, we've had war over religion, bro. But I feel like that's just like not looking at the bigger picture, So I do really like that concept. There's actually a fucking a name for it. It's like, I want to say like Gaia, and I'm probably fucking butchering it.
I've never heard.
But and they actually have like centers where they do all religions. Like there's no specific thing. It's just like loving and.
I've heard of that.
cetera.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
That's,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So, I recently heard about it because I was explaining the same thing to someone, and they were like, "Oh, there's already a thing," and I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Hell
awesome.
yeah. Bro, you should look into like Rastafarianism.
You know what? I have. That's what what's his name? Bob Marley is, right?
Yes, sir.
He was. No, I definitely will. I've watched a few videos about it, but nothing like too deep into it. I only know like basic surface level things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's one of those religions where it's not that deep. Not to say that like there's not like rules and shit, but I mean like it's one most religions I feel like the premise is there, but then they got all these extra rules.
Yeah,
Where I feel like
yeah.
with Rastafarianism, it's like the premise is there, the mindset is there, and then you kind of like go on and so forth with it that way.
That's how I feel. You know, I don't got all these like rules made up in my head about how to be close to God. It's just simply
A relationship.
loving your simply a relationship with God and with the world. You know what I mean? Everything in it. You know what I mean? So that's the way I see it.
Oh yeah, bro, that's
beautiful.
beautiful.
So you're really big into health and wellness. You said you love to cook. That's a huge part of wellness.
Yeah, man.
What got you into
Yeah.
cooking?
Man, so I'm guessing you guys don't know, but I'm actually vegan, so I don't eat
Wow,
any
I
meat.
didn't-
I did
or no
not know
dairy.
that.
Yeah.
You're vegan?
Yeah.
No disrespect, like you're stronger than I thought vegans would be. I thought vegans
Yeah,
would just be like
yeah.
not as strong.
Nah. It's just so you know with that, you really gotta learn how to cook, especially because the type of vegan I am, I'm like a whole foods person, you know, so I don't eat any like processed like vegan meats, you know what I mean?
All
Or
natural.
you said what? Yeah,
All
all natural,
natural.
all natural. So like, you know, lentils, rice, beans, potatoes, you know, nuts, all that stuff. So that's something that really got me into cooking, especially because a lot of these foods taste bad by itself. You know what I mean? So I gotta come up
100%.
with something.
Yeah.
To,
You have to put me on. I've been
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
I
get
got
some
you.
more like vegetable-based recipes and stuff like that.
yeah, no, definitely like lentils. Lentils is probably the best one, especially with the protein in it, man. Like, I mean, it'll make you shit, but like,
Hey, well, bro, shitting's good.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
good
no,
for
definitely,
you.
definitely. It cleans out your stomach.
How long have you been vegan?
A year. Before that, I was vegetarian for like 4 years. So it's been a long time since I ate meat. You know what
So
I mean?
almost the whole time you've been training.
Yeah, basically. So, you know, especially with training as active as I am, I work in a warehouse right now, you know, loading boxes onto a truck. Then I go gym, MMA, you know, so I gotta really feed my body the right stuff. You know
For
what
sure.
I mean? To not only be in physical good shape, but mental, like, good shape. You know what I mean? So,
I gotta get with you for that, bro. Sometimes I'm flabbergasted with the things I do with what I eat. I do eat well when I do eat, but I
Yeah,
eat the same
yeah.
shit, and it's so inconsistent. Like not every day. Sometimes
I
I'm
mean-
like I'm accidentally fasting and shit.
no, I do the same thing, man. Like, sometimes I'll, you know, I'm not making excuses, but, you know, sometimes I'll just have so much on my mind that's not really on my mind. But as long as you just like, all right, you know, this day I messed up, you know, but tomorrow make a strict schedule. You know what I mean? I always plan my meals. Like, I don't make the meals the day before, but I always plan them. I write them down what I'm gonna eat, and so that way it helps. You know, like, all right, at this time I'm eating this. You know, I can go make it real quick. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
That's smart, bro. Because
Yeah.
I'm one of those like I don't think about the food until I'm hungry, and then now I'm like, all right, well I'm hungry now, so I don't want it to take that fucking long.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
So that's fucking awesome.
yeah.
You've been cooking more, no?
Yeah, I was recently diagnosed as a pre-diabetic.
Oh,
I
really?
just found out. Yeah, it was a shock to me. You know, I always had the like preconception that, you know, just larger people. You know
Yeah,
what
I was just about to say that. I
couldn't
was just about to
process
say that.
sugar and stuff like that, but it has a lot to do with the carbs and the food you eat and like that. And growing up, my dad owned a vending company, so I had all the snacks you could imagine right in my garage. Snicker bars.
It was crazy,
Any
bro.
vending machine you could possibly
Literally
imagine.
like
Just-
honey buns,
Yeah,
like
just
in
right
the-
at access, bro.
in the fridge. Like,
Yeah.
So from a
yeah.
young age, I've always just had very bad food habits, and I accustomed my size to be like, okay, you know, I didn't really have to worry about those type of things. But recently got some blood work done, found out I was pre-diabetic, and I've just completely changed my diet.
That's great.
Yeah, but I
mean,
need to get more on the vegetable-based stuff.
Yeah,
for
man.
sure.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I love my meat. I don't know if I can go full, but
Yeah, I mean,
we'll
hey,
start edging that way.
You know, I'm not gonna be like one of those people that like, you know, don't eat meat and all that. Which of course I would encourage not to, but you can have, if it's for your own body, you can have, like, as long as you portion everything. Everything's
for
about
sure.
portions. Even being vegan, you know what I mean. Everything's about
100%.
being portions. No matter what diet, it's about portions. You know.
A lot of that you said is due to processed food and stuff like that. So if you just throw it in the air scenario, you had your own farm, you grew your own meat and vegetables, would you then consider eating meat, or is it okay?
Nah, the thing about it too, man, with me is not only my body, but like my beliefs and having compassion for all beings. You know what I mean? So I see an animal just as I see a human. Essentially, I know a lot of people disagree with me on that,
It's a valid point. There's
but
still a
because
conscience
There's a
there.
spectrum.
yeah, and for me, the way I see it too is like God created us all. You know what I mean? And we're all here like having this experience together. None of us are alone, or none of us are disconnected. You know what I mean?
For
So, and that I include animals into that too. So,
I will say,
respect it.
because you did mention God, I can't quote it exactly, but I know at a place in the Bible, it does say that God's like, these animals are for you to, sustain life, etc. But beyond that, when I so the reason I mentioned Rastafarianism is because there's a point in my life where I was very big into it. I guess, well, the premise of it is worshiping Haile Selassie, which I wasn't necessarily like doing that. But like that's their Jesus, Haile Selassie.
okay.
Yeah, he was just an emperor in Africa. The Bible says that like Rastas, the second coming will be the King of Kings, and a lot of the Rastafarian people looked at the emperor of Africa. He was like an emperor of emperors, so they were like, oh, obviously. And I think it was like King Solomon or something. He had direct lineage to. So there's like things to back it, whatever. But I was more so into it for the practices, and one of the practices is I was a pescatarian for probably like 6 years. You know what I mean? And I'm no longer. I eat everything now. But it was kind of like a point where I was just like, damn. Life is life, I was kind of like, it's a fish,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
world, But
Yeah.
I definitely do respect that.
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
you said that if you could recommend it for people, you would tell them not to eat meat. Is that just based on like personal beliefs, or is there like health benefits backing that?
Now with that, as far as health benefits, I mean, yeah, there is, but at the same time, you can still be completely healthy as long as portions. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But a big part of it for me is personal beliefs. I include, because when I've watched videos, man, of like slaughterhouses and all that, even like the workers that are killing animals, they got PTSD. They're coming out saying this stuff. I'm not like assuming of it. They do say this, and it's just like, to me, you're taking in all of that negative energy of an animal screaming and
Yeah.
crying. You know what I mean? It just doesn't sit right with me
For
in
sure.
my heart. So it's like I want to show love to them too, and know that just have that that loving energy for them. You know what I mean?
It's commendable. And to your point, like especially American society, they portion food off protein. It should be the exact opposite. You should portion off of your veggies and, like you're saying, a small portion of meat.
And then you mix in fast foods like McDonald's with it.
Yeah,
Like-
it's terrible. I haven't had fast food in now almost over a month now.
Hell yeah,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's good.
But I feel great, bro. More
Yeah.
energy than ever,
Yeah.
Cooking, I think if you want to make any change, just cooking for yourself is the first big change you can make.
Yep.
For
yep,
sure.
Exactly.
I feel like cooking for yourself specifically is such a huge thing, such a like self-love thing, bro. And that's something I struggle with, like cooking for myself, bro. I have no motivation to like cook for myself, but like if I know I'm having guests, like I'll gladly like make a bunch
Yeah,
of shit.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like I do find it really hard just to be like, I'm gonna cook for me. I'm just like, damn, I could just eat something that's
Yeah.
there.
I felt that at first, but like once you you start getting some stuff that you make, and then you start making stuff that you're like, holy shit, that was fucking amazing. Now it's
Exactly.
like anything else doesn't even compare to it,
Yep.
especially what you're getting from it in terms
Oh,
of
so you're like,
energy
nah,
and
I gotta
food.
cook this.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
You don't
man.
feel lethargic after you eat that shit. You know what I mean?
mhm.
It's just pure energy.
I'm more of a like leftovers guy, or like I said, I'll accidentally fast because I'll just be like, I'll be hungry, but my hunger doesn't it doesn't surpass like my not wanting to just cook
Yeah,
for
nah.
myself.
Yep.
But that's the thing, like, bro, like, say like someone's like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm like, I'll make you something, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
just making myself something, I'm getting better at it though, because when I do it, I definitely, it does feel like a self-love activity.
For
It
sure.
Where
does,
I'm
man.
like, damn, I fed you, bro.
The hardest part about it is like what he was saying is probably the biggest benefit towards it, but it's just making that time to cook because
Exactly.
it takes time. You know, it's never
It
fucking
does.
quick.
And
100%.
one thing I will say too, what you said about like the pure energy part, man. Like, ever since I started cooking whole foods, man, and going to MMA, like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't do cardio that much, you know what I mean? But ever since I started eating whole foods, man, I've been inspiring, man. I can do, I don't know, 10 rounds easy, you know what I mean? Ever since I stopped eating that processed food.
For sure.
And it's a crazy big difference.
One
man.
thing I recently learned making the change is like everyone looks at like the Whole Foods and stuff like that as like, oh, it's so expensive, it's hard to get into. But like there's so much more nutrients in those foods that you're starting to eventually eat less in terms of those giant portions of like
Yep.
non-sufficient food.
Yep, and it's an investment in yourself, man.
For
Like
sure.
that's a form of love. Spending that money and that extra, like what you said, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's just priorities. What do you want to spend
Right.
your money on? You want to spend it on this, or do you want to spend it on that? You know what I mean? It's all priorities, man.
100%.
Nah, the bread is another aspect of it.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, it
That
is. It
shit,
is. It
Food
is.
could get expensive, especially
It
when you're
is.
trying to eat better,
Yep.
which is so fucked. You know, it's like I'm gonna do the right thing, and it's just more expensive.
Yep.
And it's like, yo,
The
if I have
less ingredients,
$3,
the
But,
more
like,
expensive.
It's true, but you're only going to be eating more because your body is craving nutrients. It isn't
Yeah.
craving all this random fucking. Okay, obviously you
Mhm.
crave fries and shit like that every now and then, but your body wants nutrients. And the
even
more
when
you're feeding
when
it
you're
that,
craving fries, borderline sodium. You know what I
literally,
mean?
Exactly,
There's a
exactly.
base to everything.
Or like I was at the gym today, and I started craving Gatorade. You know what I mean? Like, I was drinking a whole bunch of water, but I was craving Gatorade. You know what I mean? Those electrolytes.
You need that
know?
electrolytes.
So
No, 100%.
Listen to the body. It's,
Yeah.
it's a big part of it.
It's funny you say that because, like, bro, I don't eat a lot of fast food, and I'm not gonna say I never do. If I ever eat any fast food, not to say that this is a good healthy thing to do, but if I want a burger, I don't tend to go to McDonald's. I try to find like a place with a burger, or if like worst case, I'll go to like Cookout, get a little smash burger or something. But like if I ever go to McDonald's, bro, Wendy's or whatever, I feel like I'll eat stuff and then I'll be full as fuck for like 20 minutes. And then
Bloated.
I'm hungry again, but I'm still bloated. I feel uncomfortable. I'm lethargic,
Yep.
and I'm still hungry. And then I'm sitting here like, why am I eating all day? Like, that was a problem for me. I would just be eating all day, but it was because I'd be hungry, and I'd be like, I'm going to eat like 13 cookies. And then I'd eat 13 cookies, and I'm like, maybe I need a waffle.
Pure sugar.
yeah,
Just fucking starving, but full, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Man, so you have a full contact fight under your belt, no?
Yeah, I do. I kickboxing amateur fight. That shit was nice. That
Yeah?
shit was nice. I felt like what was it called? Electricity going through my body. You know what I mean? When I won that.
What urged you to, get in the cage? Were you doing anything prior to that? Was that the first competition you did?
So, I've done PKB tournaments and Taekwondo tournaments, but nothing like full contact, like serious. But what urged me to get into the cage, man, was just facing my fear. You know what I mean? Like, I love to do it. I love like that feeling of like dodging punches and like hitting them back. You know what I mean? There's something about it. But also just that fear, man. Like, if I can overcome this, that's like I don't know. It's just like a step up to me. You know what I mean? And so, man, I'll tell you right now, I shitted like 3 times before the fight started. You know what I mean? I was, but as soon as I got in there, man, I locked in. And what's amazing about it too, man, which I think I'm gonna try and fight in the future. We'll see. Depending on depending on life, is when you're in there, man. Nothing, your mind is clear, man.
The world falls apart. It's only what's present.
Yeah, it's clear. You're not even thinking, oh, what's he going to throw next? You're just reacting to all his movements. And you're responding how you trained. You know what I mean? Like at that point, the way I fought was
Like instinctual.
instinctual.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And it's just an amazing feeling, man. Like that's the most clear my mind's ever been, apart from like if I really get deep into meditating and all that. But that right there, that's a form of meditation, man. I see why a lot of fighters just love doing it and won't stop. You know what I mean?
Get addicted to that feeling.
Yeah, it's an addictive feeling. It
I
really
bet.
is.
You
Yep.
said beforehand you shit like 3 times. Bring us through that, like not your shits, but like bring us through
Liquid,
that.
solid.
Yeah.
But like yeah, what were those feelings leading up to like your walk, or not even just the feelings leading up to the walk, but like once you got your opponent booked, how long was it before then? What were the months or weeks and days leading up to that? How were you feeling?
So I had one guy, he pulled out for some reason the PKB. We had to put our PKB in like the record thing, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I was undefeated in PKB, but they saw that as like a threat, so they like pulled out their guy. And this other guy came to step in, and he had done some type of Asian martial art, which was a real like kickboxing Asian martial art. It wasn't like kung fu is good, but
It
I'm
wasn't
not.
like a
Yeah, it
movement-based-
wasn't like a art. It was actual. I mean,
a fight,
yeah,
a combative
combat
style.
Yeah. And he was like 20. I think he was 27 years old. He had done that most of his life. He stopped for about 6 years and then got into MMA like a couple months ago or a couple months before that fight. So I was a little nervous, like, how much of that previous martial art did he like take in? You know what I mean? And so what I was doing, that played a factor into like trying to overcome that fear. And what I was doing, man, was I got like a little notebook. It might sound cheesy, but I got like a little notebook, and I said, he doesn't want it more than me. I'm a warrior. You know what I mean? I was just saying stuff like that, like just all that. You know what I mean? Trying to
Feeding
build it up.
yourself
Yeah,
conscious.
yeah. I was reading that every night before bed, and I was putting myself into. I wasn't just reading those words, man. I was imagining myself in that situation of the fight, and actually like thinking about it. You know what I mean? Of that feeling, so I could get used to what it feels like. And so I was doing that every night. Man, I was in school and working. So there was actually one point, Brian Battle was coaching me in hard sparring rounds. And man, there was one point where I just broke down like in between the breaks of the rounds. You know what I mean? I was just breaking down. He was talking me through it. I still, fought. I finished those hard sparring rounds. But it was just because, like at that point, doing something like that for the first time with the weight of like how overwhelming life is outside of martial arts, like that was tough. You know what I mean? But I was still going to do it because, it was just, I don't know. I just something I had to do. You know what I mean? And so, I eventually got over that. Then the day of the fight, man. So I cut weight. It was only like 10 pounds, I think.
What'd you fight at?
130, 135, I think. But man, so I weighed in that next morning, so I had to cut the night before. I could not sleep, man. I could not sleep. I was craving water so bad.
That's what I hear most about
Yeah,
UFC fighters.
the water,
Yeah.
man.
You're just so thirsty and shit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not even your mind, it's your body, like we were saying earlier. Just
Like,
feed me, give me some shit.
Not comfortable. You're trying to sleep,
Exactly.
and it's just
Yeah.
like, bro, you burn
Not
calories in
dry
your
as
sleep.
fuck.
You do,
Oh, I
man.
know.
Yeah,
You
so
do.
your body's just like, dog, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have the ability to help you do this right now. You gotta wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
Damn.
But now, so the day of the fight, though, I was feeling good. I was nervous, but I was surprisingly calm. You know what I mean? And it was like, the calm before the storm, whatever. But I was calm. I was warming up. And then that walk, man. That shit was, because I was even more nervous. Like I felt that in my stomach as I was like, oh, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? But as soon as I stepped in the cage, man, I locked in. As soon as I was afraid for like the first 10 seconds of the fight, but when that guy threw like a hard ass front kick, that's when I just like turned it all off. You know what I mean? That's when I was like, I'm in it. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely. What I love about that experience too, man, is how fear isn't real. You know what I mean? As soon as the only thing that's real is the moment right now. You know what I mean? And there's no emotions in the moment. You know what I mean?
Fear is an illusion of the mind.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I've learned. That's one thing I learned from that. So
How long had you been training before your first fight?
when
Well,
was
you
that
said
fight?
you was you were doing taekwondo and stuff, right?
Yeah.
How long training MMA, I guess? What was a kickboxing fight, actually? So.
Or yeah, how old were you when you had your full contact? You started training at 15.
Yeah, 19. I was
19, so
yeah.
like 4 years of training.
Yeah. 4
Got
years
in
of
there.
training. And, you know, I was training hard, too, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I was definitely, I had control of that fight. I had control. I was hoping he'd be a little bit better, honestly. You know what I mean?
Oh, you went in there and fucked him up?
Yeah.
Hey,
I
kudos
mean,
to you. 4
but-
years of training that's because some dudes go in for like 2 months and they're like, I'll take a fight.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I think that
crazy.
is crazy.
They don't have those like when you're saying when you actually got into there and you let your instincts go into play. They don't have all those years that you had building into that, you know.
Yeah.
Unless it's just natural raw talent coming into play.
That's what's so
Yeah.
impressive
Which is very rare.
about Brian, because like he's only been training for like 6-7 years total.
Yeah.
Like
amazing.
I was watching back our interview he did with him, and he was talking about one of his opponents whose winning streak was longer than the amount of time he was training. So like before he even started training, this guy hadn't lost yet. He said he did take an L that fight, but
Yeah.
he was like it was better that he had taken.
Was it that,
L.
was it a UFC fight?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was a UFC.
Because I know
fight.
there was one where he fought this, like, I don't know if he's Russian, but I think he fought a Russian guy. And he took on, like, 2 weeks' notice. And I heard Coach was mad about him for that because he didn't even tell Coach. But,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Where you fight? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see him like, yeah. I'll do
How
it.
long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah, I can,
Nah,
I can
but-
make that work.
Man, even in that fight, though, I watched it. And, yeah, that guy was a lot better than him at that time. But Brian was calm, man. And he lasted all the rounds. You know what I mean? It made it to decision. You know what I mean? And there's one point he almost got him with that ninja choke. Y'all saw that?
Nah, I haven't seen the
Oh, man, you
specific
gotta
fight
see
you're
that,
talking
yeah.
about, but I definitely want to go watch that back.
Yeah, no.
Nah, he's a dog, bro.
He is.
Bro's
man.
definitely
He
a dog.
is.
Definitely a dog.
He's a real inspiration, man. For real, man.
Hell yeah. Honestly, bro, one of my favorite things about Brian is just the fact that he's also like a good dude.
He is.
It'd be
man.
really easy for him to be a douchebag in his situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, know what I'm saying? That's funny. But yeah, I feel like especially when I went to like CCS, I feel like he was one of the first like people who like kind of befriended me. You know what I'm saying? And I was
Yeah,
just kind of like
yeah.
thinking like, damn, I would think that it would be he would be the last person because he was like, nah, man, I'm in the fucking UFC. It's so easy to be have that
Top
mindset.
tier, right?
Exactly. Hell yeah. So did he corner you for that fight?
Yeah, he did. He
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome, man.
Was that
Him
pre
and,
or post UFC?
Post?
Post?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I did think it was pre and post for a second. But,
Nah, that's awesome.
yeah, no, post. So that was nice, man. And he's actually even done my PKB tournaments too. He's cornered me in those.
Really?
So that was really nice.
Bro, it hasn't been since I went to that gym that I realized how important a good corner is.
It is, man, because I was literally, and what's crazy too is like, if you got a good fighter who listens to the coach, it's like they're playing video games. Two coaches
Bro,
playing
I
video
say the
games.
same
You know what I
thing.
mean?
Respect.
Yeah.
I say this.
yeah.
I say like, cause when I'm in there, like especially my hard sparring rounds, like you know when I'm in there with like Meek, E-Man, and like these motherfuckers who could do
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like sometimes I get fucking stuck and like coach just be saying shit, and I'm like, okay, like if he didn't say
Yeah,
it, I didn't like,
yeah.
and that's what really made me realize like, damn, having that corner is important. Cause even recently, bro, I did a jiu-jitsu tournament. I went 1-1. I won one, lost one, but I didn't have a corner. And then afterwards, I was looking back, and I was like, I know what to fucking do there, but I couldn't think about it. And I just went by myself, so no one was there to fucking remind me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's awesome that you even had him there for the fucking PKPs.
It was
and
great,
shit.
man. It was great because what's crazy too is he yells so loud.
Bro, you
So-
gotta even in hard sparring, bro. Like you'll be on the ground, get up, get
Yeah,
up. Bro, he's when you see him fighting, he's so calm versus him in the fucking
Yeah,
corner.
yeah.
Different guy, bro.
Yeah,
That's funny
nah.
as fuck.
So I could literally hear everything he was saying, and the cool thing too is like, you know, even though I've only done one fight and I've done tournaments, non-full contact tournaments, it really matters as a fighter to just be able to listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter how much like fear or, you know, how tired you are, as long as you can listen, you know, that's your best option. You know what I mean? And complete it, because even when you're in there and you got like fear or whatever, as long as you just do it, because as long as you have that trust, that's
Yeah.
what it matters.
You gotta trust your coach.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's where good coaching comes in. It was funny. I was at CJJ the other day. Shout out to Coach Tom. I'm over here in the middle of a round. It's open mat type shit, and I just hear him yelling. I look over. He's in the middle of his role, coaching me and shit. And then I'm like, oh, that shit works.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the
Yeah.
mind fuck of when you're like in the middle of a round or something, or you do something, you're like, yo, that shit really fucking works.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
sometimes it's hard when you're doing it with your training partners, where you guys are learning the same shit on the same day.
Yep.
Both trying to get off the same move, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Been drilling it all day, like already kind of built up a little bit of defense, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm definitely looking forward to being able to have like someone like Tom and Brian in my corner for like a motherfucker I never locked up with, but he don't know shit, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
When motherfuckers
exactly.
say, yo, Lulu Ray Ray, like, you know,
Yeah,
they don't know
yeah.
that.
Nah,
right now,
nah, yeah.
motherfuckers be like, yo, Miguel. I'm like, he knows.
Yeah,
he
yeah,
heard you too.
yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Have you had a full contact yet?
No full contact yet.
Okay.
I've done the PKBs, the Nagas, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So actually, I wanted to do MMA. I went to a gym, and I have so much like love and respect for the gym. Metrolina Martial Arts, an awesome gym, really good like programs there.
That's around
but
here?
it wasn't a fight gym. You know what I
Okay,
mean? There were a lot of hobbyists. There were people who had fight aspirations there, but as far as coaching went, wasn't really a fight gym. So then I wasn't really able to like get any work in until I went to a PKB for the first time. And that was like the first time I got to do like actual like hard sparring.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I was like, oh shit, but I was like, that was dope. So then I went to I actually moved schools. And I went to a Lake Norman Muay Thai where they were just strictly like
I've
a
heard
Muay
of that
Thai
place,
school.
yeah.
They're really good. They got a lot of people who fight on Fight for It. One of their dudes is a belt holder. But I went there and then, you know, just had some really good training partners, and I was doing PKBs, doing well and shit. But I just, like, I didn't really want to do a full contact kickboxing match because I was just like, I want to do MMA. Like I'm doing the PKBs right now to fill in this hole, but like I want to do MMA. And then you know, the coach there was he's a Muay Thai guy, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, I respect that. I understand that. And then that's when I found CCS. And then, you know, a little bit of time, got on the fight team. Now I'm on the fight team, and now, you know, me and Tom are talking about getting that first that debut fight and
Hell
whatnot.
yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm trying to be active. I'm trying to do a bunch of tournaments, a bunch of fucking anything, bro. Just getting active and
Just being in that competition.
the competition, bro. It's really just like what I was saying, like the last jiu-jitsu competition that I was doing, where I was like fucking forgetting like little shit. It wasn't because I didn't know it. It was just like the environment. Like I've never been here before. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I
yeah.
don't know what the fuck.
All
Like
the
there's
unknowns.
strangers, like all this random shit. I don't know this kid. It's not until we actually grab each other I know how fucking strong you are or
Yeah,
aren't.
yeah.
Then maybe you lock up to someone and you're like, damn, he's strong as fuck. And now you're forgetting other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Especially,
So-
man, like for me, I'm sure you've had this thought too, but when you actually, even if it's just a PKB or, you know, something light, that person's trying to beat you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's actual competition right there. You know
PKBs
what I mean?
don't be feeling like PKBs in the middle of it.
They don't, man. They don't.
I mean, one of my boys recently got knocked out at a PKB.
Damn, that's crazy.
I feel like it's happening a lot now, too.
It is. It is.
Like, a lot of dudes are getting
I've seen
knocked
one
out.
guy almost
With
get
headgear,
knocked
too?
out too.
Oh, headgear don't do much, bro. Headgear's for the commission to
That
make
makes sense.
Yeah,
The bread.
Yep.
yeah. Headgear
How'd he get knocked out?
kick, just a kick to the got him, just right on the chin.
Yeah.
Shin to the chin or foot?
It was foot on the chin. It was just like
Good shot.
snapped his head back a little bit, and yeah, and it's honestly sometimes headgear is weird if you don't train in it because you're not used to it.
You lose that little field of vision.
Yeah,
right there.
there's like that, just those little spots, and then also you'll get hit, and you're used to slipping a certain amount where the glove like grazes you, but now it shifted your fucking headgear, and now you're in there fucking doing this shit.
And I'm sure the field of vision has a lot to play. If
Oh,
shots
yeah.
coming in, you don't see it. That's how
Yep.
people get knocked out. You know.
Mhm.
Especially uppercuts, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I feel like that, for me, is definitely what I couldn't see the most, you know? But,
In with the headgear.
yeah, with the headgear. Because, you know, it's like right there and all that, and it's like,
Comes out a bit.
Yeah,
if
just
they're,
like
they're-
right.
if they're right up on you, it's hard, man. You know what I mean? So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
You think you'll ever go into MMA, or you a striker?
I'm a striker, but I do want to try MMA. I love grappling too. You know, I love rolling and all that, but you know, I love striking more. So,
Feel that.
but
You
no, I
think-
definitely want to try MMA one day. You know, just maybe a couple fights, or we'll see. Maybe UFC. You know what I mean?
You
We'll
never
see.
know, brother. You got time.
Oh, yeah.
Only 20, man.
Yeah.
You got
yeah.
you got a preference for yourself personally? Like, do you like just striking? You like MMA?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I love all martial arts, but essentially, I probably would enjoy striking more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Striking's fun.
I love a good chess match when you have two great strikers against each other.
Exactly.
Seeing what one can counter or produce off the other, it's really a fucking art.
Yeah. For me, it definitely depends on the day and who I'm going against. Like, I don't know if you know, fucking shout out to my boy Henry. But he goes to Henry.
yeah.
When me and him are going, I'm a fucking striker.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to wrestle with you.
Yeah, no.
Trying to fucking strike.
Yep.
But like, you know, other motherfuckers who could like strike, then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna try to take this motherfucker down because I'm tired of getting punched. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's why I like
yeah.
MMA, because I like the options. I like to being able to go back and forth. I like being able to like, because I realize my MMA striking is better than my kickboxing striking because I could threaten
Mix it up so
wrestling.
much.
Yeah, there's more tools.
Yeah,
involved
I
in
can
it.
take somebody down, and now they're trying to. It's different. You know what
And
I
like,
mean?
one big thing, man, is like faking takedowns and stuff like that. Like when all that comes into play, man, like when you can use grappling in striking. You know what I mean? Like use techniques to. I don't know how to explain it, but
No,
You know what I mean?
The what you're kind of explaining is like the up down game, where you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
fake a takedown to get someone to put their arms down, get up, and then start striking.
Yeah,
Or you're
yeah.
striking up top, and they're doing a good job defending. So you say, "Fuck it, let me go to the takedown." They're
Yeah.
defending the takedown. You let them go. Boop boop. Go
Yeah,
back to the
just-
takedown.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really what I'm learning at CCS, bro. Because like one thing about CCS that I love, and it's the most like fucking what's the word? When something's like kind of like scary going into it. I don't know what the fucking word for it is. I can't think about it.
What,
But
anxious.
anxiety, peaking thing, whatever. But like, I love the fact that there's so many high level dudes there. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially on the like in my around my weight for fucking fight team, we got Jamie. He's pretty good. He's a newer
Yeah,
guy,
Jamie,
but we
yeah.
also got E-Man, who I think he has one more AMI fight. I think his next fight might have been pro, but he took an AMI fight. And we
Yeah.
got Meek, who's fighting for a belt right now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So we
yeah.
got some really good dudes where like I'm like, God damn it, like. But it's also nice because one, it's like you get to work with people who are really good. You're not fucking working with guys who aren't that good and then getting into the cage with someone
Yep,
who's really
yep.
good. And it's also nice to see like, okay, like even like having homies in the UFC and shit, it's just nice to see like, okay, this is like that standard that
It's
needs
attainable.
to be reached.
Like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's attainable. This is standard. It's there. Like it's dope to be able to like be like, all right, what should I do to get in the UFC, and be able to like just ask somebody like, hey, what did you do? And they're like, I did this, and then you're like, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Point of measurement.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's definitely yeah, for me, my first fight, My only fight. I hard sparred Meek and Jamie one time. I also mainly hard sparred Chris.
Makes
He's
sense.
in college right now.
Yeah.
But you know
That's my dog.
man, man, yeah, him, especially because the type of fighting style my opponent did was similar to like karate, you know, and Chris has that amazing karate. I mean, nobody's better than Chris in karate.
Chris
you
is
know
so
what I mean?
fast, bro. He'll kick you from angles you're not supposed to be kicked from.
Exactly. Like he'll be right up on you, and he gets a sidekick on you. I go flying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah, he's good.
so I had confidence if I was sparring these people and landing shots on them,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be good. You know what I mean?
That's what it is, bro. Having those good training partners to work
Yep.
with.
Yep.
Iron sharpens iron.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Bro, how long you been growing your hair out?
Quarantine. Yeah.
Really?
So, you know, when I always started that whole like self-love thing, that's when I started growing out my hair too. So what, 4 years now?
So
Three and a
before
half.
that, you cutting it?
Yeah, I was kind of had short hair. Yeah. But no, I'm growing out my hair, you know, especially to honor like my native ancestors, you know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah.
got a little braid.
You see
here,
the
you know what I
braid,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Tell us about-
Rastafari side too.
Yeah.
You said what?
You said that Rasta.
Rastafari side.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah.
us about some of your native history. Like if you whatever info you have on it.
So I know my specific ancestors walked the Trail of Tears. So the fact that like if they didn't walk that, I mean if they didn't survive that, I probably wouldn't exist. You know what I mean? I definitely wouldn't have existed,
sure.
you know? But no, so there's that. My I'm trying to get my what's it called? Apparently you have to have like a certificate to be considered a native.
Yeah, a certain percentage of you.
Yeah, and I know like for specifically for the Cherokee, it's you have to have an ancestor who signed up during like signed up something during the Trail of Tears like afterwards, and then you have to have one that's currently registered and alive. So you know my grandma. So we're trying to do that right now, and I need to ask her about a whole bunch of things, man, because she's got so much, you know, knowledge and all that. But really, what I've learned from her, man, is basically everything I've already talked about. You know what I mean? Like loving the earth, you know, just being in tune with yourself and just your surroundings and all that. Man, one crazy thing too I will say is native tribes, and especially here, like, what was this? The East Coast was 90% plant based. You know what I mean? Yeah, so they didn't really kill their animals or like you know the bison and all that. So you know I feel like that's a way of, you know, me not eating meat is a way of honoring that too.
Hell yeah.
But and then on my mom's side, the Chahua, we so that side of the family was recently like I don't know 100 years ago I think. The government Brazil was under a dictatorship like 80 years ago, 100 years ago, and they like committed genocide on all our people among other native tribes. And you know my family was able to survive that. I don't know how. Don't ask me that. But
Built different.
yeah. But so you know we've lost a lot of language, but we're trying to learn those words back. You know, me and my sister. Like inshallah, that means like sibling, brother, you know, sister. You know, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so you know, really a lot of the things, man. I'm just now kind of getting into reconnecting with that side and just trying to be in tune with all parts of myself. You know what I mean? So
Geographically, were they from around the East Coast? Do you know?
on my dad's side, where was it? Oklahoma. It was
Okay.
Oklahoma, and then my grandma moved down to North Carolina, and then my mom's side, you know, the border of Uruguay and Brazil. So
That's fire.
yeah,
I'm from Arizona originally, and I grew up with a lot of like Navajo Indians and stuff like that.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's a lot rare to see them on the East Coast, and I mean, I guess from where I come from, they were just very abundant in a sense, but it's a lot more rare for me to run into another like Indian person around here.
Yeah. No, same for me, man. Like, I met one guy at the gym. He was like full Cherokee, and it was really cool. You know, talking to him and all that. He taught me a lot. Um, but yeah, nah, yeah, that shit was nice.
You out here dating, bro?
Yeah, yeah. It's complicated, you know. Right now, I'm just kind of, I guess, going with the flow. You know what I mean? And really, man, like with everything I'm doing, everything I'm into, it's kind of hard finding someone with those same values because that's super important, man. Finding someone with those same values, the same beliefs as you. I mean, I feel like that's what really like makes a relationship. You know what I mean?
sure.
And be able to communicate that love through the things y'all have in common, or if y'all don't have some things in common, you know, just being able to communicate that love and being just real with each other. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to find that low key, you know. So
You're young, especially at your age. Is not that age makes it, but you're definitely wise for your age and mature.
thank you.
But
I
it's hard
appreciate
to find likewise at your age. you know?
Yeah,
And I
ain't
feel
no
like
20-year-old
us growing
girl.
up went through a lot of that same stuff too. You know.
And I will say, man, yeah, and I will say, there's this one girl, man. I won't say her name or anything like that, but man, we had so much in common. But it was just kind of like it's actually a few months ago. She just had a lot going on mentally and all that, and so she kind of like took time to herself. And it's like, all right, hopefully she comes back. We'll see. If you're watching this, I hope you do. Hey, but it's cool,
Hey, gotta what is it? Put your mask on first, right?
Yeah. But yeah, no. So I'm not really waiting, but I'm not really looking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you say you're like more of a dating to marry kind of person.
Yeah, and I realize, man, especially like sex and all that, man. I've had sex with people that I didn't really connect with, but then I have had sex with one person that I did, and it's crazy, man. Like, I don't think I can go back to being that intimate with people I don't really connect with. You know what I mean? That's something that's really important to me, and just like, non-sexual wise now, as far as showing each other love and all that, I think that connection really matters to be able to show each other love,
Be able to reciprocate that same energy.
Yeah.
For sure. Seems like you move with a lot of intent,
Yeah, I
It's very
definitely do.
Especially someone your age, at 20.
Yeah.
Sure. Seems like you know what you want at a young age, which is awesome.
Yeah, which honestly, man, there's a lot of things I don't know that I want or don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know about myself. And, of course I'll admit that. You know what I mean? I'm aware of everything that I don't know. But I'm searching it. I'm searching for it. You know what I mean? That's one thing. Like, I'm always in a constant search of knowledge or, like, growth. And that's the kind of thing, too, because it's kind of hard for me sometimes to not over-intellectualize these things. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'll be, like, in my head, like, all right, what does this mean? What does that mean? You know what I mean? But, nah, so that's definitely something I'm working on,
Oh yeah, bro. These things take time. I feel like you're definitely on the right path, right page. I feel like when I was 20, I was definitely not thinking about fucking marriage or even. I feel like when I was that age, I was being more of a degenerate, and I don't look at that in retrospect like, oh yay. I look at it like it's out of my system, but I'm like, yeah, I feel like maybe I would be a little further in life had I at that time been more like, all right, let me be a little more serious, let me buckle down, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Do you feel as though you've had that fun in your life, or do you feel like
Yeah, high school, man.
oh yeah, man, you were here getting suspended, and see I wasn't getting in no trouble.
You know what's crazy about that too, man, is like the amount of people that leave your life when you decide to actually find that inner worth. You know what I mean? Like, what's crazy too was I went my whole life without even knowing self-love was a word, man. And I looked it up. I was like, what is self-love? I was like, loving yourself. What? You know what I mean? What does that mean? But no, I definitely had my fun in high school. Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about it now. There's definitely a lot of fun with it, but I want to go back to it. With
Yeah,
all the
obviously.
negativity it
Yeah,
brings. For sure,
100%.
definitely.
100%.
It's a lot of freedom at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like you feel like you don't have freedom because you got parents and shit, but then you realize like I don't have bills. I don't have real responsibility. I can only get in so much trouble. Like you
Yeah,
really do have a
yeah,
lot of freedom. Like
yeah. Love lenience or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
And I feel bad for the people who kind of have a very sheltered life until after high school, and like college is the first time they get a taste of like any sort of like independence, and they fucking just go off the fucking rails.
yeah, man. Cause it really like. No, I actually took a child development class too, because I was gonna do early childhood education, and man, just from that one course, I learned so much, especially about parents, because it's really important. There's a balance to how much you do for your children, and it's easy to overdo it. You know what I mean? Easy
sure.
to shelter them. And then once they get into that real world, or where they're in situations at school, or, just in life in general, and you've never talked to your child about stuff like this,
Yeah.
it's going to be a complete, like, what's
Trying
the
to
word?
put squares in circles. They can't put the puzzle
Exactly.
together.
It's like a
Completely
newborn
foreign.
baby, with no, you know what I mean? So that's really important.
So what? All right. So what are your thoughts with that? Right? Because like when people are sheltering their kids, it's not like they're like don't watch TV. Some people do it to that degree, but I mean in terms of like when you have parents who are very like don't do drugs, don't drink, blah blah blah, as they should. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in a church. I moved away from the church for a while, and now I'm more open to religion. But I grew up in a church, which meant that like having drinking 100% off the table, fucking cursing 100% off the table, smoking, girlfriends, blah blah blah, and that kind of made me like once I was able to have my own freedom, like while out, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, what's your idea with that, or even with like the knowledge of the class you took?
Um,
How to go about it when you have a kid, you don't obviously you're not going to go home like, hey, let me roll you a joint, you know what I mean, but also you don't
Yeah.
want them to the first time they come in contact with this is in a with who Lord knows who, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, obviously I'm not a parent, but I don't think I can truly speak on it until I am a parent. You know what I mean? But I would say it's important to teach your kids, but don't hide anything from them. You know what I mean? And if they're in an experience, let them learn, man. I learned a lot of things the hard way. You know what I mean? Um, and just whenever your kid does something that you may not like, treat them with love, man. Don't bash them, or you know what I mean. Like, of course, don't be like, oh, they can do whatever they want, but talk to them with understanding and teach them the reasons behind why something is not really okay to do. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Instead of just being like, don't do this. Why? Because I said so. Being
Yeah,
like,
Bad.
yeah, like don't do drugs. Why? Well, you might love them.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might be really fucking good.
And like they can destroy your life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Mhm. Were your parents like that? Did you grow up with like parents who like not exposed you to things, but like made you aware of what to look out for?
so I grew up with like just my mom. My dad, bad relationship and all that. But with my mom, wait, say that again.
Was she making you aware of the things to look out for, or was it more of a like, don't talk about it, don't think about it, and then when it came up, then it was like you should know better.
Um, yeah, she didn't really. I guess I mean she spoke to me about things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean. But I didn't listen. You
Yeah.
know what I mean. But when I did do those things, she was disappointed. But what really helped, man, was she spoke to me with love, man. That's why, like, I would give my life for her, cause like no matter all the shameful things that I've done in my life that have felt shameful, she never made me feel shame. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when I was afraid to tell her all these things, she was just speaking to me with like unconditional love, man. Like, understanding, like, it's okay, you can speak to me and all that. And that's something that really helps, just not being non-judgmental as a parent. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Because we're all going through this life for the first time, as of what we know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, everybody learns. There's things everybody does. The main thing to remember, and this isn't just as a parent, but as a human being in general, is everybody's doing the best that they can at whatever state of consciousness they're at currently. You know what I mean?
Bars.
So
you got a lot of bars here, bro.
I appreciate it.
You gotta come out with your own album soon. Drop all these bars.
Hell yeah. Nah, but so that's definitely, and not, if you can do that it starts with yourself. You know what I mean? So as long as you can talk to your negative side with love, you don't fight your negative side by being negative towards your negative side. There's an episode in Naruto. I don't know, do y'all watch Naruto?
My girl is all over it right now.
Ah, man, y'all need to watch it, man.
Bro, every single person who's a guest on this podcast loves anime.
Yes, man.
And they always mention it, and we're like,
yeah.
I know of the show.
So there's this one scene where he faces his negative side, and at first he tries fighting it, and they're equally matched, they're the same person. But so he takes a break, and he goes through some stuff. And then he realizes, in order to truly beat your negative side, you gotta treat it with love. You know what I mean? So then, once he faces himself again, the negative part of him goes to attack him, and instead of trying to attack back, he just hugs him, man. And that, this scene is oh man, it hits.
That sounds beautiful.
But
hell yeah.
So that's what you gotta do with everybody. You know what I mean? You don't fight fire with fire. We're always taught to hate our enemies, you know what I mean? And something that in the Bible even says this, Jesus says this, love your enemies, you know what I mean? Or like pray for them and all that. And that's what we got to do. Sometimes it may not feel like it, but we got to choose love in order to become love, you know what I mean? So it definitely takes work. I still have negative feelings about other people a lot of times, you know what I mean, when I'm driving and all that.
Started on the road.
So when I'm driving.
Yeah, when somebody tailgating me, man, sometimes I be getting annoyed as hell. But
yeah, driving's different. That's a different side of everybody.
Yeah. But nah, man. So that's just something that's really important, to see that in your kids as well. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's what I got on that.
Hell yeah, bro. Definitely, man. That's super awesome, bro. Super blessed that you have a mom like that.
Yeah,
that you can
man.
talk to and
it's
whatnot.
amazing, man. It really is. And even sometimes there's some things I'm kind of uncomfortable to talk about, but I know for a fact that she wouldn't shame me or judge me at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just something that really helps. And honestly, without her, man, I don't know where I'd be, you know what I mean? Maybe I would still be in the same mindset, but
no, I think she definitely plays a part in even your maturity. For example, my outside perspective is the fact that you have someone who seems, or from what you're saying, is emotionally intelligent enough, who is guiding you through life, versus I feel like I have parents. Not like I don't have parents. I have parents. They're dope. I love them. Shout out to them, But they're also, humans doing this for the first time too,
Exactly.
And a lot of times of my life, I felt like I was raising myself. So I had to go through the, trial and error processes. So it is really nice to be able to have, your mom there for you who could, talk to you about this shit. You don't have to make the mistakes to learn from them.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's something that I'm really grateful for.
Hell yeah. It's the opposite of generational curses, It's like generational blessings. Your mom did that for you.
Man, exactly.
You could do that for your children and so forth.
Yeah. It's definitely a blessing, man. I love it, man. I love her. I love you, mama.
Shout out to the moms.
Shout out to the mom.
Oh yeah. But yeah, nah. Man, something You know, even with, I'm gonna say this too, because recently I feel like I've truly been able to like forgive my father. You know what I mean? I haven't talked to him. I don't plan on it. But if you got like a negative parent, I think it's important like to remember what you said. You know, they're also going through life for the first time, and just remember. You know, I'm gonna say this for like the 50th time, but everybody really is doing the best that they can do. You know what I mean? And even your bad parent who may have not shown you love or haven't been in your life at all, they have fears. You know what I mean? That's all fears. Anything that's negative is just comes down to fear. You know what I mean? Fear of, I don't know, anything. You know what I mean? So being able to express yourself, fear of how you're seen. You know what I mean? And that's especially with a lot of dads, man. That's why a lot of dads don't say I love you to their kids. You know what I mean? Because they feel like in order to be a man, they gotta put on this front. You know what I mean?
Like overtly tough type shit.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's something I struggle with sometimes too. Like now, I'm aware of it, but there's a lot of things that I struggle with as a man, where it's like, if I do this, how will I be seen as a man? You know what I mean? But that's when it comes down to that inner worth. Just realizing that you're enough as you are, man.
Yeah.
So.
Heck yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like life as a man can be complicated.
It can be, man. That's why, because the most complicated thing about it is from what I've read and what I've seen and what I've experienced is the ability to express emotions. You know what I mean? That's something that's been really tough for me and a lot of other men. And just when it comes, that's why suicide for men is like way up there. You know what I mean? It's because we bottle all these things up, man. And we either kill other people or we kill ourselves. You know what I mean?
Do you know that I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that 1 in every 4 male deaths is a death of despair, which means overdose, suicide, things like that. Yeah. 1 in every 4.
It's crazy, man.
Like,
it's sad.
Like if we had another homie in here, it's like 1 of every 4, bro.
Yeah.
And it is sad, bro, and I feel like it's a thing people are trying to figure out, and it's definitely a hard thing to figure out, bro.
Yeah,
it's definitely a hard thing.
Yeah, man, definitely. Especially now with like how it is now in the world where people are speaking of other genders and all that, like all these different like sexualities and all that. That's when it becomes a little more complicated because now there's even more like men shaming other men for doing certain things, especially now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even for having long hair, I was nervous for having long hair at first. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be seen as like a girl. But like, I love my hair. You know what I mean? So
yeah. You grew it as a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And nothing. Everybody's just humans, man. Everybody's just humans, man.
100%.
That's all it is. And we're all just worthy. You know what I mean? And sure. We're all created by God, man. That's what it is. Just give our life to God. Not shaming anybody that's an atheist. You know what I mean? That's their choice. But I encourage anybody that doesn't really believe, just try. No harm in trying.
Ironically, I feel like I meet very little atheists. I feel like I meet a lot of agnostic people who are like, there's something out there, don't really know what, but, like they don't concern themselves about it. But I feel like I don't meet a lot of people who are just, maybe if they're like really into science. Like
which even most scientists, man, are actually believers of God. So I mean that says a lot. You know what I mean? That says a lot.
Yeah.
But
what are your thoughts on that, brother?
I don't know. I just think the majority of people who don't even look that far is because they don't have the circle to talk to. And that's where it goes to that despair.
Yep. And that's something, honestly, with me, man, like, I'm in this stage in my life where I don't have, all of the old friends I have, we're growing apart, you know what I mean? We have different beliefs and all that, so I'm starting to find new connections of more like-minded people. You know what I mean? You guys, man, you guys
Got to create
yeah,
space for him, you know?
Yeah,
Hell yeah, bro.
But,
That's a part of why we have this podcast, why we have this thing. So the dropouts, we created it, and it's about just dropping out of society's predetermined notions of how to live your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, there's not a lot of people, but there are a lot of people who are like that. But you know, it is hard, and I feel like that's kind of why I make such good friends with people who do martial arts, because I feel like there's just a part of doing that where you kind of have this understanding or this balance, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, because you're like, if I have to fight somebody, I don't want to go too far off this way or whatever, and then you know you start thinking about some more stuff.
Yeah, and what's great about martial arts, man, meeting people in martial arts, or, you know, any type of, like, you know, at the gym or whatever, is everybody's there to better themselves, you know what I mean? Or to step out of their comfort zone, you know what I mean? And that in itself is such a huge step, man, having that courage to do something like that. And that's where so many like-minded people meet and, like, just create this special bond, you know what I mean? So I think that's, especially in martial arts, man, especially in martial arts.
There's a saying, you work on your physical and then the mental will follow after.
Exactly. And that's something I believe in a lot,
sure.
you know?
I mean, I feel like there's even science behind that, because when you're working out, like the endorphins and stuff, like that's like not even intentionally taking antidepressants.
Exactly.
You can't help but feel the way you feel. And I feel like there comes, like, you know, confidence in that, just knowing that you're putting that time and knowing that you're putting the work in and, like, better yourself.
Yep. Doing it because that's all it is, you know. That's showing love to yourself. You know what I mean? That's exactly what you're doing, man. With all that, so.
Hell yeah, man! What could we expect next from you, man? In your you know, forward coming chapters of life.
Man, just expect something big, man. Like, I plan on you know, restaurant business, you know, starting my own business in the next few years, you know, 5 to 10 years.
You have a health business, right? You have we talked about your health and wellness, but I guess we didn't really give you the opportunity to, you know, talk about that business that you have, you know, the one that you're growing.
So what I plan on doing is buying a whole bunch of land with a couple, you know, my sister and a couple of friends of mine, and we plan on opening up this. We plan on doing a lot of things with the land, actually, but for me and my sister specifically, we plan on doing like an animal sanctuary, you know, so people can just meet, you know, animals, and it's you know, it's pretty cool. But
you give them like veggie burgers, and you're like, you don't want to eat this cow. So you don't eat eggs or anything?
Nah, man, nah. It's
What do you eat for breakfast?
Oatmeal. Yeah, I love oatmeal. I eat it with Now, one thing I would say as a vegan, because I know a lot of people will be. There's a lot of controversy around soy. You know what I mean? Creating
with like estrogen.
Yeah, which I've done a lot of research in that, you know, and a lot of people won't believe the research. You know what I mean? Some of the research that pops up, but everything I found, man, has really not led to any like concrete evidence. You know what I mean? There's been like longitudinal studies, so that's like, you know, studies over a long period of time on males. There hasn't really been any difference at all. The specific compound that they're talking about in soy, I forgot the name of it, but it affects plants, not humans. You know what I mean? And so speaking, you know, where I'm getting at is I put soy milk in my oatmeal. You know, soy milk is a big staple for protein for me. Tofu, I love tofu. But for breakfast, oatmeal, you know, peanut butter sandwich, peanut butter.
Peanut butter is great. So
Yeah. So, you know, stuff like that.
Like, yeah. What's the name of your fitness and wellness account?
What is it? I forgot. Tarzan's _vegan fitness.
Tarzan's _ vegan
on Instagram.
fitness.
On Instagram.
Definitely fitting for you, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, Tarzan. I got the hair and all that.
Hell yeah. Anywhere else you want them to catch you on social media?
Instagram's really it, man.
Tarzan's. You know, what? One more time. Tarzan's _
vegan fitness.
Tarzan's _ vegan fitness.
Yep. Teaching you about emotions, you know, the mind, the body, God, all of that, man, all of that. You know, being vegan, all of that.
Full circle.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Hey, we appreciate you coming on today's episode, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me, man. That shit was awesome.
It's been a pleasure.
Yep.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. Peace out, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.
Until next time.